What's up, you guys? What's up? What's up? So I am trying a couple things. I was super inspired by Anwar tonight. Yo, man, that guy is full of wisdom, and I just was really blessed by that session he just did tonight. And so while I'm at it, I'm also trying to give myself a little bit of a better. What's up? Hey. I'm sorry, I didn't read the last comment from the no homo person. I'm trying to give myself a more of a better setup here. I only caught a little bit, but it was awesome. Yeah, I know. That was disappointing. Hey, I'm gonna try something. How do we get Periscope working on your screen, on your computer screen? Anybody know how to do that? Yay! What's up, Dow? Got some poop in the scoop. This is the evidence that I'm cheating on my diabetic issues. Imagine it's Periscope, right? Online. Well, I think I have to Periscope.tv. Is that what it is? All right. Let's see. Just took Foreman. I think it's Periscope TV. Yeah, I can get to Periscope TV, but I don't know how to get to my thing. Oh well, this is where I get a little tech-tarded. Anyways. Well, they got some peeps in here. Who do I got? Oh yeah, I got some folks. All right. Anyway, I'm just gonna do a quick thing. Super inspired by that video that I got from. If I have a Twitter account. I have a Twitter account. How do I get this on Twitter? Let me see. Does that help at all? No. Am I supposed to drag something here? See, I don't have that thing. How do I share this on Twitter? Dang nabbit. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. You just shared it? Awesome. Okay, well, how do I... All right. Then how do I do that? That's just creepy. It should automatically post to Twitter. Okay, let me check my Twitter. All right. See? Now I'm getting schooled. This is awesome. Hey, listen, seriously. I had a great time tonight just learning. You know, I spent a lot of time art directing, and I spent a lot of time just showing people stuff, blah, 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 blah. But it's really cool to be able to just, and I've always said this, it's always better to really to just kind of, you know, be taught, be a student. You know, that's one of the biggest challenges we have is we're not students enough. Okay, I got the damn fragger. How did I get there? Oh, because it doesn't post my current tweet. I guess it didn't tweet that I'm on here. Was that? I missed that one. Sorry. All right. So I like the idea. I love the idea of drawing and okay. Only if you're free. I'm not that free, bro. But I mean, let me see what's this Noble. Noble, how I find you on here, man? Let me see. I'm also trying to. Thanks, Bernie. I appreciate that, man. That's very cool of you. You follow me already. Okay, so I know I do. I just don't know how to find you again. The Noble _recon. Bam. RECON. Booyah. Is that how I'm finding you? Is that? Oh, okay. There you go. All right. I found you. I didn't. Oh. Yeah. I was confused. We're having our conversation now about games. There we go. All right. Let's see. Quick session. Elliot Fernandez. Hey. Connecting. All right. So. We're having our conversation now about games. Ah, there's a little bit of a lag. Yeah, the video game guy. Right on. All right. I'm gonna sharpen my pencil because I love the idea that he was expressing about not doing what's the word I'm looking for, about developing a, to see me draw a woman. Rod, did you not see my latest my issue of Power Girl, Harley Quinn Power Girl? I was drawing women the whole issue. Well, only for 4 pages, but whatever. Anyway, I'll draw women. I'll draw women. Okay. Let's see. I'll try to look up at the screen as I encounter. Draw Hulk. I already drew the Hulk. I gotta draw a woman now, because everyone's angry at me for not drawing women. I didn't realize it was such a sensitive subject. All right. So, like I said, I'm probably going to be reading your comments in lag. Fire from DC. Who did I get fired from DC? Are you asking me? I need a new commission piece. My wall is begging me. Ah ha ha ha. Did you get my Batman print, or were you interested in the Batman print, Noble? Because that thing is fire right now. I took it to New York Special Edition, and it's a poster. It's expensive, but it's a lot of people dug it. So, but anyway, let's see. I don't want to just draw anything. I want to draw something specific, and I want to draw it with intentionality. Can you ever meet me? Future artists, of course, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna necessarily fly out anywhere in particular to find you, but if you ever want to, I'll be at a con or whatever, and then you can catch me up there. What's you gonna be doing? That's a great question. That's the point. That was the point of Anwar's his instruction, was that you need some kind of context, and context is important. So when you're starting out your thoughts, let's come up with a context. So a future artist wants me to draw Dazzlers. Let's try that. Let's draw Dazzler. Oh, fire from DC. I get you. Dang, I was like, is that doom and gloom or what? All right, well let's try that. Let's go with Dazzler, because I kind of already had my head on that. What about Dazzler? What's the context of this? Somebody give me a. Oh no, she didn't. There you go. Okay, all right. Okay, that's cool. All right, let's do that. I'm gonna go a little bit different with that then. Oh no, she didn't. So this is gonna be. Well, I'll write it here. Dazzler is my subject. All right, and then the phrase is, oh no, she didn't. All right. So that's my context. So Dazzler's saying to someone, oh no, she didn't. This is just an old comic board. I just took this because it was the closest white surface that I could find. All right. Okay, so I got my lights close in here. Do you guys see that better? I don't know. All right, so she's saying, oh no, you didn't. And she's talking to someone. Who's she talking to? I bet you she's talking to Storm. Oh, hey, welcome, my friend from Mexico. Good to talk to you, man. Thank you, Leo. Maybe you add fire to this one. Maybe I do. Maybe I do add fire to this one. Fire? DC's fire. This is really cool. This is a very cool exercise, man, because this is kind of getting you in the mode to tell better stories with your work versus always trying to dazzle people with detail. So, all right. So, speaking of dazzle, let's go on. So, here's Dazzler, and she's walking past a store. I think she's walking past a store window. Oh no, she's walking past oh, I know. She's picking up a magazine, and the magazine, it's folded back, so she's reading an article. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of it the other way. Maybe she's seeing something else, and maybe she's got like let's see, maybe she's got her hand here. She's holding the magazine, and she's like, oh no, she didn't. Maybe she's one of the housewives of New Jersey. Let me see. And She's got her purse in her hand. She's walking in the mall. Like I used to love that when Chris Claremont would write those stories where the X-Men just hung out in the malls. That's probably the only time I ever cared about X-Men. I don't even care about them anymore. But let's see. So she's all like, I gotta figure out what she's gonna be doing. She picked up a magazine, or maybe she's at the supermarket. Why does it gotta be? Because that's the one that my wife and I watch from time to time. I hate that show, but whatever. But hey, whatever. It's it's just trash, but I dig it. Okay, so she's here. I like to, unfortunately, and this may be a little sexist, I like to just draw my women a little fuller. So we're gonna give her arm here. Okay, no, okay, no, I'm not crazy about that. So she needs to be a little more relaxed because she's just at the thing. Let's see, maybe this arm is here. It's challenging as I'm not drawing right above my art here. Okay, so she's like, oh snap, oh no, I done told her. I think she talks like that. Oh no, she didn't. I think Dazzler talks like that. I think Dazzler does. She's a modern girl. Okay, anyway. This is kind of a general thing. Tips on drawing women. Well, I don't want to get too deep into that. I want to do this drawing, but things to consider are that women are not men. That sounds obvious, but when we draw men, guys especially tend to draw men with the whole wide V shape. You know, you got to think about what you're doing with that because women's shoulders typically are narrower. Okay, so that's an important thing. And their hips are a little wider than I think if I remember my Jambusema stuff, I think they're wider in the hips, but their hips. Okay, here's the thing that I used to mess up a lot because I tend to draw. I've always drawn men mainly. Their hips start higher, right about here. So when I'm drawing, there's that whole. It's like where my love handles would be. That's where they have some. That's where they have some. It's like it's a wider base for them. I'm gonna do something different here. Let me see something. This is just so you guys know. I'm plugging my book shamelessly, but actually I just want to kind of show you what I've drawn. Can you guys see this? This is my issue. You can kind of see it. This is where I picked it up. I drew her really hippie here. It's probably not the best thing, not the most attractive shot. But maybe... No, I didn't draw anything yet here. I guess I have to show you what I've been drawing in that case. Here, well, yeah, I can't show it to you right now. But anyway, trying to see who else can help us here. You know who's good? I keep Jerome Pena close by. You guys like this stuff here? This is fantastic. Oh yeah. What's up, Reno? My man, pots and pans. Man, I'm so glad that we connect as much as we do here, man. Because it's been fun getting to know you better in this whole digital atmosphere. So yeah, I keep my references close by, right? So he draws a pretty mean Psylocke, and you can kind of see, like, even here, you know, she's got this is her latissimus dorsi, whatever. And then over here, they meet up here where men, they tend to kind of, it drags down a little further down, like oh gee whiz, this isn't helping as much as I thought it might, but Let's see. Oh, I don't know if you can see this panel. So anyway, men tend to be more. I'll just draw it. What the hell? Men tend to be a little more. This is a typical male shape. Okay. And okay, so this is the male shape. All right. So when we were looking at this is here. It comes down to the waist. Who was that artist, by the way? That was Jerome Opena, Opena. Okay, so we tend to kind of have like narrow hips because they're not necessarily childbearing hips, right? Because the male figure is not designed that way. Men are not designed that way. Yes, I did say designed. All right, so that is us. Okay, that's our form. The female form. I learned this by, obviously by observation. And please don't waste your time with porn. That's not helpful. You're not going to get anything out of that. But what I noticed is that they are narrower. Okay. It's too light. How about this? Here's the male figure. Can you see that better? Is that better? Here we go. This is just a silhouette of the human form, the figure, the male figure. Okay. All right. So you see the hips, they kind of come there. Now on the female figure, there's a little more of a, they're not quite as wide as men. I gotta be careful because maybe she's too small there, but here we go. And of course there's the bosom, the rib cage, and they come down to that V shape again to the hips. But instead of, see where my male figure starts about here, the female figure starts right about under the rib cage. That's not perfect, but that's an observation I made, so that when I'm, and everything else may be in the same place, in relationship to the male figure, the crotch and everything goes there. But for the most part, this is a big deal, because when you're drawing, if you're drawing women the same way you draw men, then no wonder you're going to end up with a bunch of masculine looking women, and they look like they've been working out too much. So this is a big part of it. So you can kind of see there's in Spanish, a man is more ancho, women are less ancho, and then basically less wide. And there's a V shape because every human has that V shape, because the skeleton, it still has the clavicle. It leads to you taking how many thousands of not really, not many actually. I'm like, you hear people talk about being self-taught. I'm pretty much self-taught. I just read a lot of books, and the female torso is shorter and slimmer than the male. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's kind of what I've done. I mean, this is where the waist is. This is the waist is starting up here is what I'm trying to say. You think about where children and little babies go, oh, mama, they're over here. Oh, I love you, mom, and they sit right on that hip. Right, so that's where they usually end up. So this is kind of makes sense, and that's why guys don't have that hip thing where we can cast our hip to the side like women can, and they can literally sit on that hip. Guys don't have those kinds of hips. Now I have my mom's hips, so I can almost do that. I love you, mom. All right, so that was that. So back to life here. Well, cool, man. I mean, I tell you what, Abraham, a lot of this is just, it's practice and making time to observe. Really, I'm telling you guys, that 10,000 hour thing I talk about is the most important thing you can do, because that includes you spending time looking at spending time observing, drawing, looking at what you see. That's why you're supposed to learn from life drawing classes. You're supposed to go to a life drawing class and see the human figure, whether nude or not, just to see, observe. You're observing. That's what you're going to the class for. You're not necessarily going to be a better artist, a better draftsman. You're going there to be a better observer. I mean, that's really what we're doing. In order to say that same thing about 10,000 hours. Very good. So, I've learned that from a mentor. So you're sounds like your teacher is a wise teacher. So, all right. So I'm trying to build this form like this, like Dazzler's holding like a pocketbook, or so maybe she's got like a little purse here. So I decided that she's in the mall, right? So that was my decision. That's what I'm sticking with. That's my story. The character is still Dazzler. She's saying, "Oh no, she didn't," and you can also, Abraham, you can also look at, you're concerned about those books. You can also, or classes. There's also a lot of great photography books that are designed for artists to learn from. So this might be another alternative for you as well if you can't find a class in your area. All right, another thing too I noticed is the breast. A lot of people like to draw. I mean, I know their breasts come in all shapes and sizes, but I prefer the natural form of a breast, and not so much. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not trying to be a pervert here. I'm just saying that there's a weight. Like some people get the boob jobs and they're like all bubbly and puffy. And then you wonder, like, what is different? I mean, they clearly they're breasts, but why do they look that way? A big part of that is it's in how you draft. Like I learned this from Adam Warren. I like the way he does. He kind of sketches a shelf above where the breast would be. I'm not drawing this in the right angle. I'm not perfectly above it, so this might be skewed. But anyway, I'm doing the best I can. I'm just trying to practice what I just learned. So, no, and J. Scott Campbell breast is what you're saying. No, he does it different. J. Scott Campbell is really, really sharp, man. He's clearly observing ladies quite a bit for his work, but he's definitely has a good sense of where everything goes. I gotta say, because he'll draw the fake ones, and then he'll do nice soft ones. So it just kind of depends. And I don't mean to speak so. I hope I'm not offending any of the ladies in the room, if there are any. So anyway, so I just realized that I was starting to load. This is the rib cage. I just gave you guys that instruction. This is the rib cage. There must be around here is where that hip started, not up here. That was like almost starting her armpit. That's ridiculous. Okay, so I remember the hand should swing about. If it swings back in, it usually swings in about mid-thigh. If your arm was straight forward, down, up and down. If you were in the military, when you're standing at attention, you make a fist and you ball up your fist and you put your knuckles along the seam of your pants, and that's about like just below the pocket area, about not quite mid-thigh, but in that general area. All right, so she's still. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. So now I'm going to. And this isn't even, you know what? I'm starting to think that I'm not quite doing it the way he was just describing, but that's okay. This is the beginning. This is how this is that 10,000 hour thing. You start off with a weird, doesn't the wrist line up with the crotch? That's probably true. So I just lowered my crotch because I had it up here. So that's probably about right. If that's actually where it belongs. So here she's wearing her Michael Kors purse, and this is Dazzler. But how is she Dazzler? Do we even know why she's Dazzler here? I haven't even gotten to that part yet here. So I'm so busy drawing this female form. I gotta clothe this form because she can't be walking in the mall naked. But I like this I'm gonna do the 80s Dazzler with the spiky hair. So she came back, she time traveled like with the other X-Men, and she's back here now. And let's see, why not? Maybe she's confused. And here's the clavicle, connects to the top of the sternum. Maybe she's got that cool 80s Pat Benatar hair. We are young. Okay. Which is what she was wearing in the 80s. While Storm was rocking a mohawk, she was rocking this Pat Benatar hair. All right. I'm going to sharpen my pencil again. Okay. So I'm going to tell my story this time because I really want to do the better job of the gesture telling the story. I'm going to tell my story with more of her expression. Yeah, you go. There you go. Same outfit. What? In fact, she's wearing the same Dazzler outfit with the turtleneck. Now, I'm not even going to try to get the costume right. Okay, this is just a quick session. But I'll leave it. She's like, oh, hell nah. Hell nah. Oh, hell nah. No, she didn't. That sounds like my sister. That's how she talks to me. Well, she doesn't say hell no, but she's the same difference. So yeah, I'm going with more of the expression of that idea. She's surprised. Her eyes are up. I'm going to give her a little bit of a frown. Has anyone ever told you you're a great artist? Just thought. Thank you. All right. She's like, what? So I'm gonna figure out how to draw that open mouth, like oh no. So it's pretty much that. I think so. I have to drop her chin down a little bit so she can have. Because obviously, if you're gonna say that, you have to have a jaw that hangs. All right. Oh hell! Oh no! No! You better tell her to take that off right now. Maybe she's got the sparkly earrings. Oh, okay. So here's another thing I'm going to do to tell her expression more. I like to do this little trick. It's not a trick. I've been told that I do a pretty good job with expressions. A lot of it is in the eyes. I've always thought that, one of my favorite things about animation is the emphasis on the eyes. So here you do this cool little like raised eyebrow. That says a lot. He better take those pics off Facebook. Hell no. Hell no. Okay. So we go here. All right. So I'll give her a little bit of a, she's European, right? She's Anglo, so she doesn't have giant full lips unless she's putting a lot of collagen. I'm going to leave that like that, though. Hell no. Doesn't mean she couldn't have, but my favorite Dazzler is the Mark Silvestri. So I'm going to go with that. Tips on drawing hands. You keep asking me about that. I see that question a couple of times. I'm not there yet. I did promise that, though, right? The other day? All right. Okay, this is not that important of a sketch, so I'll just get into that. That's pretty cool, though, so far. I'm kind of going too far into the weeds right now with the expression. I need to finish off her form instead, so I can feel comfortable with where I want her to be. I hope not either, Dummier. Hands. All right, I'm going to teach you the way I was taught, and something I kind of figured out along the way. Hands are like, I think of them like a box of French fries. This is basically the palm. Okay? Your thumb is here. And then you have these French fries that hang out. But you only bought the 4-pack. So you don't have nothing but 4 here and then the extra handle. All right, so the idea here... okay, that sounds cool. Thank you. These are the digits. Okay, and you kind of see this is where this part of the I forget what this is called, but this is that part of the hand. And then the ball of your hand, well, this is where the thumb is. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay. So from here, if you wanted to draw a hand in perspective, the palm, yeah, thank you. I'm an idiot. Okay, so again, here's my modified French fry box, and I'm going to draw the French fries, and I'm going to give them a little curve. Basically, this. So like in comic books, especially, no, it's not off the diet menu. I just like greasy food. So in comic books, most people spend their time on this part and this part. I know that we have an extra joint here, but here's the thing: unless you're double jointed, this is seldom going to be. Unless you're doing this kind of thing, and you're balling up a fist, you're not going to get this motion. So that everybody that had that Spider-Man figure from Spider-Man 2 or whatever, that giant that had all the movable fingers, that's not helpful to do this. So most of the time in comics, you see people do this, and maybe they'll curve this part. But so that's kind of what I've done. I'm relying on the joint in the middle of the joint that goes to the knuckle. So there's the knuckle, the middle, and then the tip. There's another joint here, but I'm not typically drawing it because it doesn't usually bend. So I don't put a lot of energy into that. If I do, a lot of times what you'll end up with is a really creepy looking hand, because the hand, typically you're not getting that. So here, let me draw in pen so you can kind of see it. So here's my French fry box, and here's my French fry. Okay. Now this is just in comic books, and if you wanted to draw that, you're more than welcome to. But I'm just letting you know that sometimes you end up with like a weird looking hand. Okay, so here's more of that. So it's okay, because you're thinking, oh, well, there's a joint there. It must be something. It has a hinge, therefore. So you can see I'm kind of relying on that middle knuckle, and then of course at the end of this box, I'm doing that fanning out, this kind of like action Jack Kirby Silver Surfer hand. So I'm going to go ahead and, all right. So now here's the bottom of the palm. Here's the palm right here. Thank you, Tony, for that help there. And now I'm going to, well, hell, I gotta figure out how to draw this now. Hold on, I'm doing this. All right, yeah. So I'm probably gonna have this kind of thing. This is also in perspective. So the thumb is gonna kind of come out like that. Okay. So that's kind of the thing, right? So again, I have the French fry box, and these are my French fries. They just happen to be a little more organic than usual, organically shaped. Yeah, no, or maybe this is the hand of a very large woman who's trying to steal her purse, and she's saying, "Oh no, she didn't." That's what's. I'm gonna use my thing here to accentuate my pen to accentuate this, in case you can't see it very well. Again, this is not a commission or anything, so I'm not going to put that much energy into keeping it super sharp. I just wanted to practice, like I said. I think it's important. What Anwar said is super cool, because I have actually, I think I've said this before, even to you, Reno, if you're still around. Oh, Catch a Feel. Okay, yeah. That in a lot of my work, I used to go to the shows with my prints or whatever, and I always just have a bunch of pinups and a bunch of just like, I got one of my favorite prints is a Nightwing, and that I did, and it's cool. It's a well drafted. It's neat. It's neato, but it's not that engaging. It's just kind of a guy just standing there. And I remember I got a critique one time from, I think I talked about this before, and the guy told me, "What do you want to hear? Do you want to hear the truth, or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear?" I said, "Well, I want the truth." So I said, "All right, it's going to be brutal." I said, "Well, go for it." And sure enough, it was brutal. He just tore me up. He was like, "Well, this was wrong here. This was wrong here." I'll tell you what, though, he was impressed at my attitude, though, because I wasn't trying to say, "Oh, I'm better than that." When I say you should be a learner, I mean it. Every chance you get, it should be about learning something. So if you can never be so good that you can't learn something better, even if you're convinced that this is your masterpiece. Because guess what? If it's your masterpiece, you might as well, you won. Just stop playing the game because you're done. But I think we're always learning, so there really isn't a masterpiece. Anyway, so the point of his commentary was very similar. He was saying that a lot of people are only interested in drawing these cool poses because that's easy. That's the easy thing. And if it's not easy for you, don't worry. When you start to draw it more and you figure it out, you're gonna be like, you're gonna rely on those angled headshots of Batman that I tend to do. So don't do that. That's not good for you. Don't allow yourself to slip into that trap. So the idea was that he said was, hey, why don't you tell a story, give something there, and he had actually learned from Frank Frazetta, which I thought I was impressed with that. So I gave her this long glove thing, and sure enough, he what he said was perfectly right. I was drawing just a bunch of cool poses, and there was no reason for you to invest in it. There was no reason for you to want to have that image in your collection, because it's just like anybody. You can go to any con across America, and everybody's drawing the same damn headshot, the same damn image all the time. So the trick to that is to be different. How can you be different? Anyway, she's got some lumpy legs. Talk about cottage cheese. Not even good. Oh no, she didn't. Anyway, so same thing. So I've observed that in my work. I want to improve. You got to stay humble. You got to pay attention to the teacher when the teacher's teaching. And, Anwar schooled me tonight, and I was very pleased with that, because I need to get better. I don't want to be where I've always been. That is not going to get me any further in my career. That is not going to get me any further in my hobby. Wherever this is to you guys, it has to change. It has to be different. You can't continue. Like I've said before, you're either green and growing or you're brown and dying. So don't waste what opportunities you may have being too stubborn and too proud to beg. That's not going to help you. Yeah, oh no, she didn't. I don't know if this is working or not, but hey, it's a good start. Let's just practice. Was it Frank Sr. or Frank Jr. he learned from? Frank Sr. He spent some time, some sort of mentoring program or something like that, some kind of mentorship that he was involved in. He was an apprentice for a little while, that's what I'm trying to say. Apparently, Frazetta had a few of them. He wasn't always happy with all of them where they ended up, but it is what it is, right? Can I have the sketch when you finish? Yeah, I guess if I keep it with me, I probably won't keep it with me. So this is kind of where it's at. All right. Kind of goofy. It kind of works. So it's strange. Yeah, sure, man. You can have it, I guess. All right, so I think she had like some kind of like, she had like a star thing that went over, something like that. I don't know, something like that. So here's a little knuckle here, going to the other knuckle, going to the knuckle, the wrist. Here's that muscle. This is where the bicep meets at the elbow. Now she's starting to get a little tough. He learned from a legend when the show was his apprentice. No kidding. But it must be intimidating though, if you were taught by someone like that, who you really admire, or who had that kind of impact on the art community. It must be super intimidating. All right, so you see how this is what I was telling you before, how there's like a little bit of a fullness to the breast, but it's not supposed. I mean, I prefer this is where it's like a natural, realistic approach to the rest. And if you just want to be a pervert and just do all the weird extra stuff, and that's up to you. But I mean, no judgment, no judgment. I'm just saying, it is what it is. I don't know. All right, guys, I appreciate it. So I'm gonna put a little thing. Oh no, she didn't. I'm gonna DM you on my IG for my address. Why gotta be a pervert? I don't know why you gotta be a pervert. Well, you're gonna have to pay for shipping though, future artists. Just letting you know, because it's gonna, and it may take a while because I don't get to the post office as often as I'd like, especially for because I don't. Pretty much, I'm gonna be really. Things are getting busy for me, guys, and so I'm not sure I'll be doing as many commissions as I used to do. But in whatever the case is, just letting you know that, if you ever want something from me, catch me at a show. That's probably gonna be the best way to get it from me. If I change that though, I'll make sure you guys know. Only 4 fries because this is the handle, see? I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know about the handle, but this is 4 fries because those are the 4 digits, the 4 long digits. And this one's long too. It's like, oh my gosh. And then one's going to be some blood here. Some blood. Can you explain your process on line weight and unfinished lines while inking? I'm not really sure. I don't really understand that question. I guess you're asking me about inking. Well, I guess I could do it this way. If I was going to ink her, I typically keep my light source. Okay, you can see this. I have it like this, basically. It's wider here. My arrow's wider because I'm suggesting that it's coming from maybe from in front of her, casting light across her body. So, yeah, now you know how I feel. I was drawing late anyway, but then I caught that video and I'm like, oh. So wherever the light is hitting your subject, that light has to impact not just the shadow, because that's what a lot of people do in comic books. Okay, if you're working in animation, your animation is going to be it's going to usually have just single lines, like this, just like a real smooth one weight to your line, because this basically is just outlining your stuff. But if you're going to have do it in comics, if you're going to do your storytelling arm, that is not suitable for a single line. Is not suitable for publication, mainly because you want to make sure that your line art is hot, it's bold, and also you want, if you don't give anything any special weight, then everything's on the same plane. So your line weight, whether it's a single line or a heavy line, is going to help indicate depth. It's going to help indicate lighting, and that's going to help separate your elements from each other in your composition. So just using this as an example, all the light is hitting here, so all my stuff on this side is going to be lit or lighter line. On the other side, I'm going to give her a bolder line here to indicate that this is the area furthest away from the light. Does that make sense? So this, and then like here, when you see inkers ink this, they usually have like a teardrop look to here. It starts off thin and ends up thick. I've seen people do like weird things where they make it thick at the top. That only makes sense. Again, you can almost feel the weight. Like this lighting line is actually, what in the world is that? Who is that person? Okay. Anyway, basically, yes, I drew it. You go, Abraham. Have fun. So anyway, over here, I am basically just insinuating or identifying this space or this area as a as being lit. So even though turns out I am now. Even though this is it's a simple drawing, whatever. And even though these lines are on the other side, I'm still showing that the light is coming here against her body, and so the shadow is back here. A lot of inkers I've seen do weird things. They just kind of started throwing all kinds of weird undulating lines. That's a cool, interesting, different take on inking. But the reality is, this is really where you want it to be. You want to put your heavier line towards the bottom or away from where your light source is coming from. That's cool, man. That's cool. I'm not even sure what the hard to do, so don't sweat it if you can't do it. So yeah, so that's basically the principle I'm employing here. Everything on the other side gets a thinner line. Now, if there's something in the background, like let's say this hand was in the background, then this will have the same principles are in play, but it's going to be thinner. And if the things that are furthest back, I might go through and even use a lighter line and keep it uniform. That way I'm showing that it's further back because it's not as hot as the stuff here. So you see her backside here, I'm including this line. Okay, I'm going to thin it out in the middle, and then I'm going to give it a bold line back here because this part is really in the shadow, if you will, away from the light. To help to put you up on the worldwide list and get more viewers. Oh, okay. Well then give me some hearts, y'all. I mean, whatever. I mean, that's fine. I'm not greedy about that, but it's cool if you guys give it to me. That's nice. I appreciate it. So here, the line is still bold, but I want to give her an even bolder line. And don't ink with a pen like this. This is terrible. But if you better use it with a brush. But anyway, you see how that works? So there's a nice flow of weight. You know, this can still have some variety in the line, so this thicker and thinner in places, but the point is that you're telling that story now with this about where the lighting's coming from. So everything has a story. Everything has a story. God made it like that. Okay, so anyway, he only had poop hearts. I know. It's sad sometimes. Giving weight to objects that are closest helps dimension too. Well, that's the point. It's you're separating space, an item in space. So okay, like here's her back leg, right, or this is the side of her hip on this back side. I'm not going to make that as bold as the one in front. So if this is going to be the one in front, then I have to beef it up. If it's too similar, and then if this is too close to the one on the back side, then I have to bolden this one up. And that's why you got to be real careful, because you can end up with like a bunch of jacked up heavy lines everywhere, and then it looks like you're drawing a coloring book. But that's kind of the idea right there. So I guess the question earlier may have been related to how I do this. My next con is Tampa Con this weekend. I'll be there at A10 as my table, A10 or A11, one of the two, and then they're right next to each other. And then I'll be at New York Comic Con after that in the fall, in October. Right on, guys. So yeah, next time we'll talk about brushes and stuff like that and tools you could use that'll help you get where you want to be. Tampa is in Florida. Tampa, Florida, United States. Not sure where you're at. So why the blue pencil, and what brush do you use to ink? Blue pencil, there's something about using here. I don't know if I have a regular pen. I don't even keep regular pencils much anymore. There's something about this. This is my mechanical pencil. This line, well, this is not too bad. This is actually, I think, an HB, but I have one here. What did I do with it here? This one. This is pretty. It's a good mechanical pencil. It probably is also HB, but anyway, this is almost like too much like an inked line. It's so bold. And you guys couldn't, you know how early on you guys couldn't see my blue lines very well? Well, that's the point. I don't really want to commit that soon in my drawing. Do you have any other artists on Periscope that you recommend? Super into Eric Canetti's stream. Yeah, I'm definitely into him. To be honest with you, either I'm missing people or they're not posting much. So I guess the thing you can do is to go into my followers or people I follow in my account. Anyways, this line is super dark, and yeah, sometimes it can get kind of be a pain because then I'm not really. I mean, I could draw a little lighter, softer, which I probably should start doing more of anyway. But the only problem is that I can be working on an idea. I start getting heavy-handed, and it starts to get really convoluted and messy. So keeping it in blue for some reason or another, I guess because in tonal value, the blue to the white is not that far off, whereas this gray to the white has a lot more contrast. And so I feel like this is less committed. And it feels a little more open for me. It's still a little more open for interpretation and giving it something, a little, how do I say, I mean, I can still massage the art. The artist we're watching this thing is hello, relaxing, dude. Oh, cool. Sorry. I'm sorry if I'm monotone. I tend to be. It's late. Sorry. There you go. Anyway, so can I be behind a booth with you, Elliot? You know what? Maybe, I guess, but probably not. We got to get to know each other better, my friend. Let's do that. Let's start with that first. So that's why I go with blue pencil, and I do the blue because I prefer it. It's a little more, like I said, it's a little closer to tonal value with white. Then I have red. Red was good for a while, but sometimes it had the same problem. It was a little stark. So I just prefer something that's a little more in the area of that white to blue shift. Does that answer the question? I hope it did. Yeah, that's it. So we covered hands. We covered me attempting to follow Anwar. You start using colors, I feel like it livens up the sketch too. Well, that's another thing too. When I do ink, you asked me about brushes, Recon. When I do ink, I don't have it handy with me right now. Hold on a second. Hold, please. I have it in my bag here. I keep a portable art set with me all the time. Here you go. This is basically what I bring to the convention. It's my bandolier. And up front here is where I keep my favorite inking tools. I have my multi-liners here. I keep a Micron with me. I actually prefer Micron to multi-liners, but what the heck, I need to use them. So this is my favorite tool. This is my Pentel brush pen. It's got a nylon brush tip. Here, I'll show you how it works. So if I'm gonna, it's my favorite tool. It's very versatile, and it gives me the opportunity to get different lines, and because I can either go heavy for my line, or I can go thin. And depending on how you hold the brush, and how much pressure you apply, will determine the line weight. So let's say here I might come in, I'll do a lot of pulling lines. I don't throw a lot of lines. I like to pull my line, and you can kind of see this is not going to be perfect because this board is very porous, and it doesn't really allow, if you're going to work on these kind of things, it might work better on the back side, but I think it's just going to bubble up. That's actually better. Let it dry for a second before I ruin my table. But here, this here for now. But as far as this is concerned, I pull my lines this way, and I can kind of, I don't have to work as hard to do those nice clean ink lines. Some people like to use markers. I prefer not to use them, although I have used them, and they work pretty well. You can kind of see I can kind of almost see I'm dragging my brush across, and it's at different angles. Okay, and there you go with some of that. Pulling a line means that you're either going to drag the brush to yourself, or throwing a line is when you flip it out, you flick it out. So it's I prefer dragging it or pulling it because I like to get my thick and thins like in comics. You know, I kind of do this thing, and I already have my thick and thin here naturally just by pulling it. This is a Pentel Pocket Brush Pen. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it or not. It's usually got a little Japanese logo over here. It's really designed for writing kanji, but it works really great for comics. So a lot of comicers use it. You can kind of see here. Again, this is all about practice. This is that 10,000 hour thing. I mean, if I'm not going to be able to tell you how to do it exactly, but it's about you have to get familiar with the tool. My first one, I dogged out my first pocket brush pen. This is probably my fifth one since I've been using them. I love this tool, and sometimes I let them they stay too dry for too long or whatever. So I try to use them whenever I can. But it's a great tool. Like if I wanted to do, you know, throwing like a shadow effect here, you know, I can do a quick fill. But this is not quite as versatile as like if I had a nice fat brush with a loaded tip of ink. It'll work a little better for me. But for the most part, like I said, this is a good portable tool, and it's not perfect. So now I'm throwing a line. See, I'm flicking it away from me. But to be honest with you, I prefer this because I usually get like a dry brush effect when I do it that way. What I'll do is I'll pull, and I get these little thin lines. And the more you learn to control the tool, the more of cool effects you can get. So like here, I like to this little blop and pull, or throw for that matter. But I'm actually trying to pull it away with my hand in a different direction. So I actually ink with brushes. Yes, I do. But I'm not right now. My comic work, I'm not. I have a full-time job that's not related to comics, and that full-time job demands my time, of course, and comics has its own demands. So I'm trying to be smart with how I work and try to give myself ways to work differently. So I've chosen the digital path for now. Eventually, if this comic thing becomes more of a regular thing for me, I'm assuming that people will like my work and people will buy the comics. And I've done one issue for Power Girl, or Harley Quinn Power Girl, and I'm working on something else right now that I can't talk about, at least not yet. And I have a couple of things in the hopper actually. So, but anyway, you know, this is about. Then I can start, you know, maneuvering into that time. But anyway, the point I was making about this, though, the tool, is that the more you spend time with it, you just got to keep trying new things. You know, if you're, thank you very much. You know, that's how I learned to ink. I had a friend who gave me the basic principle about a thick and thin. You know, you start with here, and you kind of let it flow out, and you want to have that kind of be your thing. Later, I applied the principle I was showing earlier about the lighting to that, and then on top of that, a little bit of finesse. You know, you start to develop your own style, how you use your tool. You know, some people use this tool very heavy-handed. I try not to. I like it the way it is. Right now, I'm just kind of adding some texture everywhere, just over-rendering it, but just to kind of show you guys. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. So that's it. So this is my tool of choice. I also have some brushes that I use. I seldom use them. I've actually, when I do my commissions, I usually use this tool. Again, it's my favorite one. So we're gonna chat via Twitter. I got some ideas on possible projects. Man, I first of all, you're amazing for always hanging in there with me, man. But like I said, I'm so busy lately between my job and some of the comic work I'm doing. Like I said, I'll be able to share more of that later. I don't know if I can do any projects anymore, man. I'm genuinely, I mean, I've been pulling late nights lately just to meet my deadlines, and I'm not getting younger, so I'm getting tired faster. Yeah, man, I've been staying up till like 3, 4 in the morning, sometimes breaking night to get a project complete, and then heading out to work. It's not good, not good. So needless to say, I've invested in some stock in 5-hour energy, and that's not even working. It's getting bad when you've taken 5 hours. Okay, where are you at? Where you at, man? Aren't you in New York? Cause that's a long trip, dog. Or are you? Wait a minute. Are you in Philly or something? Oh, yeah, I'm wrong about that. I just talked to somebody else recently who's in Philly. They may have moved to Philly. Anyway, guys, so this is me being goofy with my brush, Philly, but I will be in California. Periscope on how you separate your ink and clean up line work in Photoshop. Good night, Brad. Thank you for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Wow, what are you going to be doing in California, Noble? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm actually going to be in California. Oh, okay. Right on. I'll be in LA on the 3rd week of August, as a matter of fact. So if you're in that area by the time, let me know. We can go grab a bite or something. Digital inking is harder for you. Okay. Well, no, I won't be there. Are you going for like tournaments or something? Or are you going to there for some specific business? Kind of boring but helpful. I'm watching from LA right now. Nice. Awesome. I'm in LA. Nice. All right, yeah, I'll be out there. I'll definitely be posting some stuff. So anyhow, yeah, so I'll be out in LA, and that's where the projects, in answer to your question, it's difficult for me now because now I'm starting to make sure I gotta do this stuff. So as far as gotcha. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I saw championship. That tells me everything I need to know. As far as inking and digitally, I've become very adept at using a Wacom tablet. I can't afford. I've used a Cintiq before. It was an older one, so it wasn't the most gracious experience, but it's still pretty cool. I like to purchase one eventually. Maybe I'll do it. If anyone has one they want to try and get rid of, maybe we can trade. But as far as digitally, I mean, I like to work that way. And then what I'll do is the blue thing is what helps. And if you're going to draw this way, because if everything was done in regular pencil, you realize that this pencil will still show up in your scan. But I'll try to, the benefit to using a particular blue, and this is not the best blue for it, by the way, because for whatever reason, this blue is probably made up of a little bit of red or whatever. Yeah, I know, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because it's a little bit of red, so what I'll do is I'll take it into Photoshop after I scan it, and then I will go through hue saturation, and I will desaturate the art, all the blue, and then get rid of all the color from my art. That's the way to do it. To show it to you would be a little complicated and cumbersome, but I use a Huon DWH69. It's pretty nice. So what is that exactly? Is that a tablet? Or is that a scanner? What is that? Right on. Yeah, I mean, you could always PM me, or I can always kind of show you. A tablet? Huh. Why don't you PM me about that? I'd like to learn more about that tablet, see if it works. Is it one of those ones that's battery powered in the pen, or is it like the tablet where it just reads it. Maybe that's proprietary, belonging to Wacom or Wacom, whatever. Anyway, so this has gone longer than I expected it to take it, but I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. And there's a couple of Cintiq alternatives. Lay it on me, man. My email is, let me give you my email address. It's Unova. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Unova. Is it comparable? Is it truly comparable, or do you think it's a little bit off? I know that the price is better. Yeah, that'd be perfect, man. Just go ahead and send me whatever information. That'd be great, and I'd love to chat with you about that, because I'd like to learn more about that as well. Hey, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful to all of you who even pay attention to my work, and thank you for all who have purchased the comic. Again, it's not my whole comic. I've been very blessed by the Lord to have had the opportunity to work with Stefan Rue, and he's a great guy, and he's the one that put me onto this project, and I'm very grateful for that. And it's Power Girl, Harley Quinn Power Girl, this one here. That's not it. It's anyway, this book here. I'm on issue number 2. But again, I just really appreciate that, because this is for me like it's a whole so I've been working on this dream, if you will, for all my life. I even gave up on it several times, and I'm very grateful for the career that I have had, and it's been a blessing every step of the way to learn the things that I've learned from the people that I've learned it from, and I'm just very grateful. So when will my next stream be? I don't know for sure. I try to it's ELLUSTRATE. Don't make fun of me. I did that a long time ago. illustrate@gmail.com. Maybe I should have written it with this other thing. Anyway. And anyway, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're learning something from it, because that's the main thing I want to kind of just give back to the people, that a lot of young artists or budding artists who need to hear certain things that are going to make sense for you down the road. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Well, with that said, I appreciate it. I'll try to post it. I'm going to try to announce on Instagram at least 5 to 10 minutes before I decide to start a session. I just was really anxious to try out this new technique. So thank you. Thank you very much. I'm grateful for that. So I'll try to use that as my launching pad for any of the future sessions. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. God bless you guys. Have a great night.